I'm Karen Owen-Lee, and I'm the senior expert. I have just written this book, and this book is filled with information for the baby boomer that is faced with their parent becoming a little older. We don't know, as a baby boomer, you've not dealt with it before, so you really need to buy the book. And today, I wanted to go over one of the scariest things that you'll ever have to deal with your senior parent, and that is driving. 80% of those in their 70s, suffer from arthritis. Some of them are frail. Some of them, what's really interesting is that they can't turn their neck like we used to be able to do, or we can do. So you can't see if a car's coming around the corner or not. It's not something that's usually observed, but that is one thing that you will want to look at. And the reaction time is slower. When you see the yellow light, they'll be going through it, when by law you should be slowing down. Those are the reaction times. Let's say you're on the highway and the car in front of you slows down, stops. They're gonna not most likely, but often will hit them. And the one thing that's scary is how many accidents really happen. Fatalities are 17% higher with those over 70 or the relationship to those 18 to 64. Now, what does that mean? The fatality rate, 17% higher. It means they're not driving right. It means that they're not paying attention. They just don't have good eyesight. They don't have good hearing. All of these you need to take into consideration. And 75% of drivers 65 plus are taking medications and they don't know what the side effects are. In other words, they may be taking a medication that makes them sleepy. They may not be reading the bottle. They may not be able to read the bottle because their eyesight isn't good. So those are things to take into consideration. Should these things scare you? They should scare the pants off you. I'm sorry, but seniors at a certain time need to stop driving. So here's the difficult part for you. You're the baby boomer. You realize that they shouldn't be driving. And how are you going to have that difficult conversation? It is one of the most difficult conversations you will ever have in your life. But before you take the keys, here are some considerations. AARP and AAA both have a safety driving class. They can take that. However, one of my friends went and had their father, take the test. By golly, he passed it. And he should not have been driving at all. So that's not a really good idea if you know that they shouldn't be driving. A drive along. Let them drive. You get in the passenger seat. See how they do. See how the reaction time is. And I also want you to, believe it or not, look at the bumper. My father, who I've spoken about time and time again, is 90 years old, and he always wintered down in Florida. So I'd go down for a week with my stepmother. We went to a restaurant. He backed out of a parking space and hit the car behind him. Did he leave a note? Oh, it was nothing. And meanwhile, we were just going like this. I was the only child, there were 3 children in the family. I'm the only child that would drive with him. They were all so scared of him because, again, he couldn't turn his neck. His vision was great, his hearing was great. He was very knowledgeable, he was very aware. But check the bumper. Check the front bumper, check the back bumper. The thing that he did, he went down and got some car paint and kept on painting over it like we wouldn't know that there was a big dent there. The sides of the cars were okay, but what's funny is I go into assisted livings, independent livings, memory care every day. Do you want to see what this side of my car looks like? Because they don't have that distance perception when they open the car door. But my car's okay. Consult with a doctor. He can recommend that they don't drive anymore. Law enforcement, what can you do? How can you have the conversation? They've had it many times with many seniors. And the elder law attorney. In some states, an adult child is liable if the elderly person has an accident. You have to pay all of the expenses. If there's injury to the other driver, if there's just car injuries, whatever, you're responsible for it. So you need to check with either the law enforcement or your elder law attorney to find out how much liability you have, because it's scary. Oh, I'm sorry, look at the bumper and find alternative transportation. There are vans, companies that will take them to exactly the destination. Another thing that I found out the other day is Garmin, the GPS apparatus, has a secured area. In other words, you can set it up for 2 miles outside of the senior's home, and that's all you can drive. And that's a great idea. It'll tell you what street you're on, and it will tell you how to get home. If your senior is getting a little forgetful and won't give up the car, that is an option. I can't tell you what the price is, but Garmin is the company. Other alternatives, how about trying family members? It's a concept. One person in the family always ends up being the caregiver, and there are usually other people in the family. They can drive too, especially if you have a full-time job and they don't. And the last one is, now is the time to have the difficult conversation. Mom, I'm a little worried, but you always start the conversation with, what if? Mom, what if you're out on the road and you hit a car? Mom, what if you would hit a car and there was a fatality? You would feel terrible over that. Mom, I think we really need to look at alternative ways to do the transportation. I'm available on weekends, but I can't do anything during the week. There are also house doctors that will come to your house and do the examination, anything you need done, shots. They can bring in the x-ray equipment. So they don't have to be going out for that anymore. That's over and done with. There are doctors that only do house calls. Now, I remember as a child, Dr. Shu would come with his little bag and come to the house, but that stopped for a while. Now it's back into place. They don't have an office, they just go out to people's homes, assisted livings, that type of thing. So you've got many options, but remember, when you have the difficult conversations, it always starts with what if. It's never, don't be angry, don't don't let them be intimidated. It's a loving, caring conversation. It should be very nice. If you hit some hostility, keep working through it. You may need to end the conversation, bring it up again at another time, but you don't want to be reliable for any of this. Remember, this is a scary point. This is a scary subject. Who hit my car? This is Karen Owen-Lee. I have just written the Caring Code, and it happens to have this information, especially the difficult conversations. It is one of the things that will be, if the senior needs to go to assisted living, independent living, have home health come in, it's all covered in here. You've got to read this. It's a step-by-step book. Many of the books that are out on the market are an inch and a half thick. Who's going to sit down and read that? It's a textbook. This is not. This is a guide. This is what you need. So go to KarenOwenLee.com and you can order this from me. It's $11.95. It'll be worth every penny you spend. Again, I'm Karen Owen-Lee. Feel free to call me. I also do coaching and consulting if your situation is just out of hand. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great day.